This might be a little controversial statement. Atlanta.
Close your eyes to get away. Just bang my line and I'll arrange it. Beautiful girl, you're stainless.
Hey girlies, it's your girl Trey Monet. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and let's dive straight into this video. All right, so today we're gonna be talking about things I wish I knew before moving to Atlanta and some tips to help you out if you are looking to move here. All right, first thing first, let's talk about driving, okay? The drivers in Atlanta are crazy. Huh? Now, they're not as crazy as in Miami. You might be surprised, but their driving here is just really, really crazy. There's gonna be a lot of people that be like not letting you in or like bobbing and weaving. So it can get really crazy. Now, one tip that I do have when it comes to driving, this is something that I've heard from people who are from Atlanta and they know how it is in the city, but do not honk your horn. Huh? Okay? Do not honk your horn to other people, no matter how frustrating it is, no matter if they cut you off. But don't honk your horn, because apparently they be shooting people who be doing too much with the horn here. And there's been a lot of stories with people who have been shot at because of them honking the horn. So just don't do it. That's just something to be aware of. Don't honk your horn in Atlanta.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
The next thing is jobs and employment. Now, when I came to Atlanta, I did already have a job lined up because I am in the education field, but I don't really want to be a teacher anymore. So I've been, looking into other positions and other roles. And y'all, it is so hard to find a job in Atlanta. Now, I know some people are going to be like, oh, I have a master's, or oh, it couldn't be that bad. When I tell you, I heard that from other YouTubers that I saw before I moved here. But I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I can eat interviews up. So I thought it was sweet. And I thought I was like the exception to the rule. No, for some reason, I don't know why, but it is actually pretty hard to find a job in Atlanta. So if you are looking to come here, I would give it like 5 to 6 plus months, because I've applied to like over 300 jobs at least. I've gotten a few offers, but just still like not the best. And that brings me to the other caveat to that. Well, Atlanta doesn't really pay as much. Like, even compared to Miami, you're gonna be able to find a job, but you're gonna get paid for that job. Like in Atlanta, the job might be okay, but for some reason they really don't pay as much. It's like way below the national average, which is weird. So beware of that. Atlanta, for some reason, just does not pay as well. And it's also gonna be hard to find a job. I forgot to mention it, but they're big on networking in Atlanta. The third thing, Atlanta low-key has, this might be a little controversial statement, Atlanta has mediocre food. I'm sorry, somebody had to say it.
Where's the flavor? Where's the flavor in this? I don't taste anything.
I came from Miami again. Miami food wasn't the best, but there was like so many different cultures, like so many different restaurants, like a lot of flavor in food. So I actually feel like Miami had a decent amount of good restaurants. But here it's so hard, like especially when it comes to like Mexican restaurants. Like, everywhere should have like a good, authentic Mexican restaurant go to. And when I tell y'all, it's been so hard to find that here. So I don't know, the food here, I've tried a decent amount of places, and I just still have yet to find those like go-to spots where the food is just amazing. Like, you're gonna find like some good food, some decent food, but like that's mediocre. Like, I still have yet to find like some great places, like some like you have to go to, like must try. I mean, I'm sure there are a few, but again, it's probably just a few. Like, I just wish that there was some more. The next thing is, it is so expensive. Like, this is something you've probably already heard of, but when I say expensive, I'm not only talking about like housing and like food, parking, but also like the social life here is very, very expensive. It just adding up. So one thing in Atlanta, they gonna tax you when it comes to paying for different things. When you have a going out type of night in Atlanta, or like a little social type of vibe, you're gonna be spending a lot of money here. Cause even in Miami, like, yeah, you spent money, but I feel like it was like at least like worth it, you know? Or if you're not partying in South Beach, you really weren't spending that much money. Like, I don't know. So just be mindful of that. It's just really expensive to even go out here. Now, a tip for that, I would say, is to, on Instagram, follow some of those like Atlanta pages. There's like specific Atlanta like news event pages where they'll give you events that are free. So that could be a good way to like balance it. Like if you are gonna have like a lit social life here, you also might want to balance it with some like free events that'll also pop up. So that's a tip for that. Another thing that I wish I knew before moving to Atlanta is legal rights. Like, I feel like you kind of do your research on places before you move, but you don't really look into like the actual like legal aspects all the time. But when I looked into like a lot of the legal aspects, I realized that Georgia is an at-will state. So what that means is you are able to quit a job at any time, but also a job is able to fire you at any time without reason. So you can quit a job without giving them a reason, and they can fire you without giving you a reason. So to me, that's wild, because where I'm from, it's not like that. Like, you need to have a valid reason as to why you're firing me. But here, that's just not a thing. And a lot of my friends have gotten like terminated with no explanation whatsoever. So be mindful of those legal rights. That's just one example, but just be mindful of the legal rights when you move to a place, especially somewhere like Georgia, where they might have like stricter laws or different laws like that. All right, another thing that I wish I knew before moving to Atlanta is the apartment search is really tricky here. Now, what I mean by that is, in Miami, I stayed in this high rise, and because I wasn't able to move there right away, I got a realtor to do all the searching for me, do all the talking. Like, I never really went to actually see my apartment before I moved in. But when I moved in, it was fine. Like, everything was really up to par. Like, all the finishes were great. It looked exactly like it was in the pictures. The gym was great, the pool, like everything like that. Now, in Atlanta, I came for the tour, right? I came for the tour so I could actually like see what the apartment looks like. But the pictures didn't look anything like a lot of the apartments that I searched here. So the pictures don't look like one thing, but when you go, I don't know, it might be another thing. Now, when I went, I looked at the model unit. You know, the model unit is always going to be nicer, of course, yes. But when I moved into my actual apartment, it was like a complete 360. The model unit was just like upgraded. It had a whole different wall colors, like the nice gray and white cabinets and stuff like that. And I just feel like that's not really something that they mention to you. Like, the leasing agents, they're going to be like really nice and like make it seem like they're really trying to help you out. But really, you know, they have a job to do. No, this is for any state, not just Atlanta, but still. So I feel like even in the other places that I've lived in, because I've also lived in DC, it just wasn't really like that. Like, for some reason, I don't know, it just appears way differently than it could be, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense here. But I say all that to say this: make sure you thoroughly check out the apartment you're going to be living at, but also that you are asking the leasing agent every single question. Like, how similar will my unit be to this unit? Will it have updated appliances? Will it have this same wall color? Like, ask them everything, because you don't want to get bamboozled when it comes to you actually moving in. It was like, feel like I was sold this dream. It's going to look all nice. It's going to be like giving. And then when I moved in, it wasn't giving. So be wary of that. The leasing office, the leasing agents can be a little tricky when it comes to you finding an apartment. So you really got to be mindful. All right, the last thing that I wish I knew before moving to Atlanta is that the scammers are real, okay? Like, I heard about the scammers and Atlanta being like a big scammer city and da-da-da. But I was kind of like, crime is everywhere. Like, of course there's going to be scammers. There's scammers everywhere, like. But when I tell you, the scammers are outside in Atlanta. People break into my mailbox and use my credit card. But also, I went on a date with a guy, and he was like trying to show me this like restaurant that he goes to, and he claimed his phone is about to die. This is a long story short, but when he got my phone, he definitely tried to like send himself some money. Like, what type of broke bum? You know, I ain't even gonna go there. But just be mindful. Don't let anyone use your phone like at all. Don't connect to certain Wi-Fi. Like, it just so easy to get scammed here, and you just don't want to be a victim of that. So, and that also goes with your car. Like, do not leave anything of value in your car, like at all, because there are car break-ins. Thankfully, I haven't had anything happen to my car specifically, and I try to keep it like as clean as possible. Like, I don't even leave a piece of paper in there because I'm like, I don't want them to think it's a check or nothing. So just keep your car really, really clean. You don't want people to like break in. One of my friends, her friend car actually got broken into, and there was nothing in there either. But I don't know, maybe they thought that there was something in the trunk, or who knows. But just be mindful of that. Another tip, like weird tip that I've heard from someone who's actually from Atlanta, they said just leave your car unlocked. Huh? Like, I know it sounds crazy, but instead of risking someone breaking in your car and busting out your windows and you paying like $800 to $1,000 to get your window fixed, just don't leave anything valuable in there and leave your car unlocked so that they'll check it first and they'll be able to go through it, whatever. They won't find anything, and that's done, versus them breaking into it looking for something. Like, it's just a whole headache. So I don't know, take with it what you will. But that's all I have for this video. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye.
To get away, just bang my line and I know